Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a nice big college NBA slate, 9 total games here. Before I get started, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? It really does help the channel out. We'll get into our injury report here first. So let's get into that here. For the Trailblazers, we have Simmons out and Williams out. For the Cavs, Wade is out. For the Pacers, Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith is out. Isaiah Jackson is questionable. Oscar Shibwe was pulled up from the G League. For the Heat, Butler is questionable. Hero is out, and Highsmith is questionable. For the Hornets, Ball is out, Richards is out, and Miller is questionable. For the Nets, Simmons is out, and Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. For the Bucks, Crowder is out, and Connaughton is out. For the Bulls, DeRozan, Levine, and Caruso are all questionable. For the Jazz, Markkanen is out. For the Timberwolves, McDaniels is out. For the Hawks, Jalen Johnson is out. For the Spurs, Wembanyama is questionable. For the Lakers, Hachimura is out. Vincent is out, and Vanderbilt is out. For the Clippers, Powell is doubtful, and Plumlee is out. And for the Warriors, Chris Paul is out, and Peyton is out. And if we look at the lines here, Cleveland is favored by 12 points in a low-scoring game. Indiana Miami has a higher total than I expected, with Miami favored to win by 2. Brooklyn versus Chicago is in Brooklyn's favor in a pretty average point range. For Detroit and New York, it looks like it'll be a pretty defensive battle, but for the NBA. But New York is favored by 14. For the Bulls and the Bucks are favored by 8.5. If a bunch of those guys are out for the Bulls, then that would probably make it even wider. But it has a pretty high ceiling at this point. For Utah and Minnesota, Minnesota's favored by quite a bit. I think that game's going to be closer, and I don't think that total should be as high. For Atlanta, the Spurs are uh, playing Atlanta, and Atlanta's favored by 7.5 points. If Wembanyama misses, that would even lower that some more. I think Atlanta might blow that game out, especially with that high total. For the Lakers in Oklahoma City, OKC is favored. It does look like LeBron and Davis will both play, but OKC's playing pretty decent right now, and they do have a high total. And they did really well against them last season as well. For the Clippers and the Warriors are favored by 5. I think that game could probably go either way. So let's get into our plays that we do like today. We're going to start with our core play of uh, Shea Alexander. Now, he has played extremely well this season. He's been very consistent for the most part. He's had a couple off games, but he's been good day to day, and he's priced pretty well right here. I'm actually surprised he's not closer to 11,000 or more. But while he stays under the 11,000 range, he's going to be somebody that's a viable option, especially in great matchups like going up against the Lakers, who really don't play a ton of defense. And he has some steals bonus today because of the different guys on the Lakers that tend to turn the ball over. So he has a lot of potential in this game, especially if he can get at least 30 regular points, which he's definitely capable of doing. Then we're going to look at Trae Young, who's also a core play for me. I really just like him a lot in this matchup against the Spurs. He's going to have a lot of opportunity to have a dominant game here. He's played very well throughout the season, and the fact that he's under $10,000 right now is very good, especially in a plus matchup like this. He's been playing pretty well. Obviously, against Cleveland, he didn't do very well, but Cleveland is always a slowdown game, so it does inhibit some. But he's going to have plenty of opportunity in this game to have a massive game. So uh, then we'll look at Carl Towns for Minnesota. Now, he's played somewhat inconsistent throughout the season, and he's had a couple off games, but he's got a high ceiling, and this is a good matchup for him. Utah has Markkanen out, and that gives him some more potential. He scored 40 fantasy points in their last game against Utah this season, but I expect him to actually have a little bit of a better game than that today, as he's going to have some more opportunity to get more rebounds and stuff with some of the Jazz being a little bit gimpy. Then we'll look at Evan Mobley for Cleveland. Now he has played very well with Allen on the floor with him, and I like his potential here. His price still hasn't gone over $8,000 since the midseason, so I really like his potential in this game. He's also been rebounding extremely well, and this is a very favorable matchup for him against Portland, so I do like his upside here. Then we'll look at Claxton uh, for the Nets. Now he hasn't played a ton of games, but it looks like he'll be playing today. He's played the last couple. Um, and those matchups were a little bit tougher than this one. He finally gets a game where he should be able to kind of play out and do his best thing, kind of like he did against Atlanta. I think that should be pretty much what we expect from him today. The only real concern here is that it gets a little lopsided, which is possible in this matchup. But I do think he's in the mid 30s, if in the low 40s today in fantasy wise. So he's a really good play. He was very close to being a core play on the slate. Then we'll look at Capella for Atlanta. He's played very well as well. The problem with him right now is the fact that he's in a timeshare where he plays about 20 to 25 minutes. But he's played well in those minutes anyway, and so it's hard to ignore him. His price is a little bit higher than I like, but he's still a good option on the slate and has some potential, especially in a very plus matchup, especially if the Spurs miss Wembyama. He'll have more upside as well. Then we'll look at Mitchell Robinson here for the Knicks. He has a lot of good potential in this matchup. I think he has a good utility here. He's been a little bit up and down throughout the season. He does have a lower floor, but he has a good ceiling, and in certain matchups, he has a lot of upside. This particular matchup, he should get more minutes and have some more potential for double doubles and stuff like that. I forgot to mention Keldon Johnson here, so I mentioned him here. He's played very well throughout the season. He's been a little bit more inconsistent, though, than what he has been in the past. But with Wembyama, he does tend to get some games where he doesn't get as many opportunities. But if Wembyama misses today, he'll be a great play. He would move into a core play if that's the case. Then we'll look at Emmanuel quickly for the Knicks. He draws some potential today as he's played very well the last 3 games. He does tend to be a little bit scoring dependent, but he's also got total defensive stat potential here. I do like him in certain matchups, and this is definitely one of them. He's played well uh, at home this season as well, quite a bit better than on the road, so I do like that as well. And so he has some nice upside here. He should have some better assist numbers in this particular game as well. So as it is a little bit of a low-scoring game, but I think the Knicks will probably get out ahead, and he'll be able to kind of control the game coming off the bench. So I do like him here. Obviously, with so many injuries, hopefully there's going to be some other guys that open up, especially with the Bulls, with the Heat, and with the Pacers. So obviously, the Spurs, Wembyama really will make a difference on the slate as well. So with that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.